Hey guys, it's Nick the Booksmith. Welcome back, welcome back. I was finishing up a book for a friend of mine. It's a wedding book, like a wedding journal slash guest book slash fill in the blank here. When I was asking questions about the plans for the day, you know, all that kind of stuff, there were a lot of non-answers because they weren't really sure about what state mandates were going to be as far as like social distancing and that kind of thing. So I decided to go a little bit different of a route. She didn't just want a book filled with lined paper or blank paper to write on. She wanted it to look like a junk journal with different types of papers and that kind of thing, and have areas for writing down, you know, the details of the wedding day and the wedding party and guests and gifts and that kind of thing. She also thought that it would be cool to be able to use it on honeymoon, first anniversary, like it could be a whole our first year book instead of just a wedding day book, which I thought was brilliant, and that's what we went with. So instead of me deciding, okay, the first 5 pages are going to be for writing down the names of the wedding party, the date, the place, etc., and then the next section is going to be for guests, and then I didn't want to do that. I didn't want that kind of responsibility because I don't know how much they're going to need for each section. So what I ended up doing was I just made a very simple dark green book with some gold bands, a little cameo here with their initials and name on the front. And then on the inside, some of the Pep & Press wrapping paper. And of course, just standard random pages, nothing out of the ordinary there. But what I did in the back of the book was I put one of the little folded folio kind of things that we've done before with one of the button string closures that opens up all the way. And instead of me making the decision about the chapters or partitions of the book, I made labels so that they could add page tabs when they wanted to add page tabs, which they could do even afterward, or after a section is done and filled and that day is over or whatever, then they could put page tabs to separate that into its own little area without wasting pages, because what if I designated 10 pages for guests and they only used 3 because it was a little wedding and just 3 pages? Then it's like, then those pages in there could be wasted potentially. So I thought this way that it would be a little bit easier, a little bit more adaptable for them to be able to make that kind of a decision themselves. And then that way they could have more room to use it in other areas where maybe they needed more pages for the honeymoon section or their first house or whatever. And then I made some little labels, and these are just like a book cover label. And I have wedding day, honeymoon, first anniversary, got some blank ones as well. Gifts, wedding party, our guests. And then that way they could put page tabs on it, but if they wanted a title page to separate kind of from maybe the previous section, and they wanted to put this on that first page before you go into it, then they could use these as well. You know what I mean? Does that sound like a plan? I think this would be a good idea, at least for somebody like me. Not that I need a baby book anymore, but if I did, I think that would be kind of a cool idea, because then the parents could separate the book as needed. Be able to just adapt how much room, how much space you need for each section if you're going to be sectioning off the book. ¿Lo sabe? So what I thought I would do is I'll close the barn doors here, and then this, and then this. And I thought we could make one of these folded folio thingamabobs. If you've never made one with me before, then you are at the right place. let's make one. I used basically just one of my 12 by 12 scrapbook cardstock. I have a slew of them and I don't even know why. I don't even use scrapbook paper all that often, at least not anymore. So I've got, oh my gosh, I've got a ton. It's a lot. It's a lot. There's a lot. So I'm just going to grab one of these or two of these or something, depending on how big you want to make it. This is some Prima. I do like this one. Kind of got some cool colors on it. And some of these, that is My Mind's Eye. This one is Graphic 45. I've had this one for, I don't know, ever. I get it out and I'm like, oh, I should use that. And I always chicken out and I never cut it up. It's pretty. I don't know. Probably had it since it was new, since it came out like 5 years ago, and I just won't cut it. So I'll put that one aside and I won't cut it again. I do like maps, maybe a map. I think this is Holtz, maybe. And that one too. I don't remember what brand this is. Seven Gypsies, maybe? Maybe Seven Gypsies? Do those match? Maybe I'll use those too. I like this one because it has the map on this side. Some of them don't have any names on them. 2006. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. Okay, I've made my decision. That was easy. All right. What you need to do first off is decide how big of an area you want it to cover. So this one was like 5 by 8, I think is the closed dimensions of that one. You need to find the center of one of your 12 by 12 pieces. I'll just do this one the exact same. Does that sound like a plan? 8 inches is going to be 2 inches shy of this side and 2 inches shy of this side, correct? I better get my this thing out. Here's 2 inches here, and then 2 inches in is 10. If you don't have a scoreboard, you can always put your paper on like a stack of newspapers or something like that, something that will cushion it just a little bit, and then hold your ruler up against it and use either one of these little embossing tools or a bone folder or something that won't cut the paper, and then you just score down it. And if there's something just a little bit soft underneath it, then it will let that paper give a little bit and it'll make that score line for you. But you don't have to have a scoreboard. It's nice though, just FYI. If you have the means, I highly recommend picking one up. 5 in the middle means I need to take away 7 inches total from the 12. So that's 3.5 in from either side. Is that right? We're gonna go with that. So 1, 2, 3.5. So now I can see my little corners. You probably can't see my little corners, however, so I'm sorry about that. They're scored. Can you see those? So we are going to be trimming away those corners around the score lines. I'm going to go ahead and give these a fold, and then maybe that will help you see them. There's that. Is that better? Can you see those better? So I just need to cut away those 4. All right. If you want to make your folded folio to where it has a little bit of depth to it, you can take your scoreboard or whatever, and you can score on this outside edge. Let's say I'm going to go out like just 1 tick mark, which is 1/8 away from the score line I made. And then also on both sides because, just cause. And you could make it as much as you wanted. I just thought little tiny bit of like an 1/8 inch would be good. And then that way, if it gets put in the back of a book and somebody wants to keep photographs in there or something, it'd be like a little portfolio of photographs or something. I'm going to fold these to reinforce that little 1/8 inch. I was afraid to score any harder because I didn't want to crack the paper. And then by doing it this way, you don't even probably need to bevel these at all, because then there is a little bit of room in here for those pages to fold over the top. Does that make sense? But you can. You can totally take a little snippety off just for safety's sake, if and you want. And I cut all the way through to the side, through the 1/8 inch score. I cut all the way through that. I forgot to turn the notifications off on my PC. It's over there all happy singing to me, telling me all kinds of stuff's going on. Life's moving on without you. I know it is. It's okay. Life is overrated. I didn't cut some of these very like straight. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, Nick, because we're going to be covering that up. Here is the beginnings of our folded portfolio. But as you can see, these are too short. Oh no. They're not going to end up like this, right? Because they're too short. Oh, the humanity. That's where another piece of cardstock comes into play. It can match, doesn't have to match. I'm not your mom, you do what you want. I just thought the map would be kind of cool. So what I'm gonna need is I'm going to need a strip of this, and I'm just gonna take a whole strip, and it needs to be the same width as this middle part here. What did we say it was? 5 inches? So I'm going to take a strip that is 5 inches. I'm going to like slice that off and then take 5 inches because I don't want like just the edge hanging out over on one side and then nothing. So I'm going to cut that off. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slice this in half. So slice this at 6. I think I held it up against the wrong side. I did. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. You know, it's fine. I was like, why does this look so wide? Because you messed up, sister. There we go. Now I will cut it in half at 6 inches. So now we have these two pieces. I'm not going to keep it this long. I think this is a little excessive for this particular one. So I'm going to trim this puppy off. And since it's a map and it has certain trim lines on it, I'm going to just use those. Now what I'm going to do is this little bottom flap here, I'm going to attach this piece about, I don't know, 1/2 inch up or so. And that's really, it doesn't matter. You can attach it actually anywhere you want to. That part doesn't really matter like at all. If you want to leave some showing or you want none showing, you want to cover it all up, then do that. And then that way when it opens up and you see the different kind, then if that, you know, floats your boat, then do that. I think I will show a little, I'm going to show a little bit of leg here. And I'm cheating because this paper has lines on the ledger, so I'm cheating. If you want to leave this as a pocket, be my guest. If you want to do that, just close up the sides and leave the middle open. And then we'll be doing something similar on this side. And again, you can decide where it is you want to pop a squat. I think I will put the glue about here-ish, which is about the same distance away that I put this one from the bottom edge. Good way to make sure it's straight is to close it and see how, I don't know if you can tell this edge because it's just kind of sticking out. Well, you probably can't because you're zoomed so far out. Good grief, get in here. Gosh. You're acting all shy around me like you don't even know me. Get in here. There we go. That's perfect. And I didn't like scoot it over this way. I was going to, but I ended up just tilting it, and that made it work. Okay. So now what I did on this one was I trimmed this top flap so that it had little angles in. And that is what I will most likely do on this one as well. Let me close up the sides on this one and get glue all over the planet. And of course we've been making these little folios in different variations and dimensions and for quite a while now. So, but those of you that are new, maybe you haven't gotten to any of those videos yet, a couple hundred ago at least. I think I'm coming up on my 500th video pretty soon, so I've got a plan, man. Then this one has a little pocket in there too. I mean, it's irrelevant, but whatever. So what we can do is turn that over, and I'm going to line this up on some grid lines just so that I'm semi-accurate here. And I'm going to go down an inch and make a mark, and over an inch. And then the same thing over here, in an inch and down an inch. And take the scissors and just trim those off just so that it is obvious which is the top and which is the bottom, maybe. But I mean, you can totally do it on both of them if you want. I don't care. And then I'm going to grab this ink pad that basically has almost nothing left in it whatsoever. And in order to help the edges be defined and separated from everything behind it and around it, I'm just going to put a little ink on the edge. Which of course is absolutely not necessary whatsoever. Okay, I think that's inked enough, don't you? So, oh, let's back in a little bit. Now we're too close. Jeez, get out of my face, man. So now I want to make the little circle thingies that will hold the string. And I've got some scraps of file folder. I think this one's too thin. I like to have contrasting solid color. It doesn't matter. That's just my preference. I also have black, which I think is a little too stark. So I'm going to use this one, if I can find my punch. Here it is. And this is just 1 inch circle punch. This is a Fiskars. I love this one because it's made for thicker product, and it's the bomb diggity. I'm not gonna lie. You can make these as thick as you want. You can double up the stuff. If you got thin stuff and you want to double it up, go for it. I also have some eyelets, and I think I'm going to use some blue ones just to bring out the blue and the I don't know, in the ocean there. I don't use the blue ones very often, so let's use those. Guesstimate the center. And with my crocodile, I'll put it on 3/16. Punch the hole. And I will use this one to mark this one. Like that. I'm going to find the center, such as it is. So this is the center right in here. I'm going to go up about an inch. I think that's what I did on this one. And then on the bottom one, it won't be down an inch. It's going to be further. I'm going to kind of mark where I think I'm going to want it, right about here. So I shall punch the hole. Oh, let me make sure before I start punching holes. I will put that there. I think this needs to go down just a little bit. I will go ahead and do the top one. I have this little reinforcer punch. And I'm going to glue one of these on the wrong side of the thing. Good job, Nick. Yeah, I try really hard. I want to thank the Academy for nominating me, and my mom, and Oprah. Okay. Crisis averted. Like, glue it on the right side, man. Glue it on the right side. I forgot that it was 2 different colors. So what this little reinforcer shape of the same stuff does is when you go to tie the string around it, oh my gosh, the cat, she's killing me. When you go to tie the string underneath it, this little extra layer helps that string to have room to wrap under there so that this doesn't lay so flat against the folio cover. Bob. You guys got it. You know what I'm talking about. All right. Eyelet setter, or what is this thing? It's an eyelet, right? Grommet, eyelet. Words are hard. And I've had people ask me, what am I doing wrong? I can't get the eyelet to set. It's all mashed and weird. And it's because, most of the time, it's because you have the eyelet in upside down. You would think that you would put it where this little donut, see the donut? You would totally think that it would go the way it sits the best, which is kind of like this with the top down around the little mountain thingy. Yeah, you'd think that that's the way you should do it, but that's opposite. You put it in whatever you're going to be putting it through, and put it so that the little donut shape is upright, and then put it through whatever the material is. And then for some ungodly reason that makes no sense to me whatsoever, then you have to balance it on that little mountain. Yeah, it's not easy. And so in your brain, you're thinking, well, that can't be right because it doesn't fit right. Well, I know, but that's the way it works. Now I can scoot this down just a little bit because it was going to be too high. So let me mark a new spot. I guess that's not really going to work for a pocket, is it? Because you put in the thing, I forgot that it's that far down. So sorry about that. I messed up. I'm just going to glue it shut. Pretend that never happened. I'll deny everything. Grab my other thingy, put my eyelet in here, and it goes through this. Then we balance it. See, and this thing too at the bottom, it has these little things that you can switch around. But this one that has the smooth little mountain, that's the one I use for eyelets. I think that's the one you're supposed to use. And then we're gonna balance the bottom of our little eyelet mushroom. And there we are. Now we are eyeletted. It's a piece of twine, like Shania twine. Oh, that was a bad joke. I'm gonna tie that and make a knot. Then I will cut the tail. It can be trimmed after it's wrapped around as many times as you want. And then you wrap it around this one and then hang it to dry down here and then cut that. And then you make another knot. And that's probably still too long, but there you go. And what's nice about these, putting them in the back of a book, is they're not real thick, they're not real hefty, and it keeps everything safe and sound, but you don't have to try and shove it in a folder and then you could dog-ear the corners. That's why folios like this are used, because it opens up entirely and you have less of a chance that you will accidentally fold or mash or, you know, ham fist something into a folder and then it's all, you know, we've all been there. That's pretty much the basic construction of this little folded folio. They're really versatile. You can use them in all kinds of projects and applications. For the newbies, maybe this is something that you haven't done before, so I hope you learned something. And for all the oldies, all the oldies but the goodies, I hope it helped in some way, at least maybe spark some inspiration or cool idea, something. I have some really fun stuff coming up soon. There is a challenge that I'm working on the parameters, so yay! Summer challenge, get that, that'd be fun. I think that's it for the moment. I guess I will end it there. Thank you guys for joining me today. Feel free to peruse older videos. There's several hundred, so get to work. And I will see you all really, really soon in the next video. Bye guys!